Hello everyone, welcome to the preview for the game against Brentford in the Premier League at Old Trafford, 3 o'clock kickoff. This is a tough old game, lads. Brentford have looked decent the past couple of weeks, I would say. Got a decent record, scoring very early on in games. Almost feels like it's a bogey team for United as well, Shreyas.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't remember the last time we went into a game and said, would be an easy game. Every single game that we've come up against a team, we've gone, and said that this might be a tough one, this might be a tough one, this might be a bogey team. But Brentford have actually looked quite decent this season. They look to, in a lot of their fixtures, they scored goals within the first 3 minutes of the game itself. Then they're very compact and organized. They're able to fend off pressure, and then they know how to counter teams because they know that teams are going to be attacking you for the rest of the game. They improvise a lot in their midfield, and they're able to, exploit those channels quite well, especially against the big teams as well. They've performed quite well. So yeah, I think not just a bogey team. I would say it will be a very competitive game because in the last game, I think as well, Brentford played against Wolves and they managed to win 5-2 or something. So especially considering the kind of attackers they've got at the moment and the morale that those players are on, it's going to be a very tough game for us.
Yeah, going into this is it's weird, isn't it, Sam? Because we've had this international break, but you can only go off kind of your last game.
Yep.
Aston Villa was a back-to-the-wall performance. Nothing you can really take away from it, apart from in isolation, it's a decent result. I know we always say this, but is this squad better than what it's showing? Surely it's time to kick into gear at some point. Like, well, it's going to be 8th again, isn't it, in the league?
I mean, it should be. Like, we are, on paper, I think, is a good team. Like, I think we've got good players there. Obviously, this system or tactical decisions are just not working for the team. If you look at the record against Brentford, it's actually pretty good in terms of just pure results. I think, is it 6 wins, 1 draw, and a loss, I think. And they haven't beat us at Old Trafford since like 1930 something, I think. I think it's a long time. But when you look at the games, like game to game, and you look at the performances, they've been terrible. Like, really, really terrible. And with the performances we had against apparently a really poor Porto side, according to a lot of Porto fans and a lot of people who follow Portuguese thing, and they gave a game to us. Villa, who looked completely off it after beating Bayern Munich, couldn't put them away. FC Twente, who are the lowest ranked team in European competition this season, couldn't put them away, and we let them back into the game. Doesn't give you much hope, does it, for against Brentford, who, like you said, have started very, very well.
And add into that as well, Shreyas, you've got this kind of lingering, looming injury curse, which Mainu seems to have been struck by at the minute, and Ugarte as well, whilst away on international break. So you've got now, I mean, me and Sam spoke about last night, Maguire, Yoro, Majrari, Shaw, Malacia, Mainu, Ugarte, and maybe Mount as well. It might not be available. We'll have to see how that goes. If he plays 5 minutes and then he's out again, we'll see what happens with that one. But just on Ugarte, has he seemed a little bit like a fish out of the water for you? And do you think he'll come good eventually?
I think he'll come good, but people need to understand what he actually brings to the table. He's not your, I wouldn't say he's your deep playmaker sort of a player. He's someone who likes to get stuck in. He makes a lot of ball recoveries. He's someone who covers a lot of ground. He's a pure engine in that 6 role. And he covers a lot of ground. He fights for every ball. And he brings that aggressiveness into the midfield. He brings that physicality into the midfield. So if people expect him to, like play breakdown passes through the lines every single time he's on the ball, he's not that sort of a player. He's a completely different profile. So I think he will come good, but it will take him some time because it is a very turbulent midfield. It is a very turbulent system on top of that. And I think for any new player, especially who's moving from a completely different league to a United team, I would say, when things are not going, when you've started the season slow, it makes it a bit tougher for the player to integrate. When you see players alongside you who have been present at the club for like 10 years or even 7 years, and even they are not really able to perform that well, it creates an added pressure on the new player who's just come in. So I think he will come good because the sort of player he is, I think we could really benefit from having that sort of a player. But on the same side, it does also come down to the fact as to how he's actually used in this midfield. If Ten Hag is actually able to simplify his role a bit, or actually, just create some sort of stability in that midfield, he will come good. But it will take him some time. It's not going to happen overnight.
You had some horrible gravy over a plate of problems as well, Sam. You've got that left-hand side where what options do you go with to deal with that fiery Emberno, who's in the form of his life at the minute?
I mean, we spoke about square pegs in round holes several times, and I think we spoke about Harry Amas as well, haven't we? In that position, like, is he ready? Ten Hag clearly doesn't think so. There was a report, I think it was the week before, or maybe a couple of weeks ago, where basically Ten Hag says he doesn't think he's physically ready for the Premier League, which says to me he's not going to play this season beyond, say, we get somebody in the FA Cup who's in a low-ranked team, maybe he gets minutes in there, but I don't see him playing again. Like, you'd think you would have chucked him in against Barnes. I think it was Jay Motti we spoke about, actually. He thought Barnsley might be the option, and he played Toby Collier there instead.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, this kid's not going to get minutes. So, yeah, that left-hand side is worrying, man. It's really, really worrying. So I just think, do you play Lissandro? Do you play Johnny Evans has been spoken about? Lindelof has played full-back. Anthony's played full-back. All the options that we speak about, none of them fill me with confidence, to be honest with you, because, like I said, they're all square pegs in round holes. You've spoke about with Lissandro being exposed on those channels, like it happened in the Porto game. That worries me. Johnny Evans is not the quickest, and I think Mbeumo could have him on toast multiple times if you got Johnny Evans in there. Lindelof's not the quickest either, so yeah, it's a nightmare situation, really.
I suppose the most important position is the table, isn't it? And we're currently 14th in the table. Shreyas, if we lose to Brentford, I think we go 5 or 6 points behind them and possibly closer to relegation, believe it or not. Surely then you make the call rather than, because it feels like it's only going to get worse. If we lose to Brentford at Old Trafford, you had Thomas Tuchel who's just taken the England job now. It could really get really, really bad, couldn't it?
It could get really, really bad. And I actually expected them to pull the trigger within this international break, because considering the kind of fixtures you've got coming up, considering the entire atmosphere around the club right now, nothing really fills you with confidence at the moment. Like, genuinely, if you look at how things have been going right now, I cannot pick even a single thing I'll take out as a positive and say maybe he can turn it around. Maybe this player and this player, they with time they're able to form a coordination moving forward, but just doesn't seem to happen because there's a big disconnect in this team. And we've seen it a lot of times under Ten Hag that whenever this team is on the pitch, just doesn't look connected, or doesn't look that they're on the same page. And there is still a big gap between the midfield and the attack. And sometimes when we are able to bridge that gap between midfield and attack, there's a big gap between the midfield and the defensive line. So there is genuinely a lot of issues at the moment. And then when we hear stuff coming out that Ten Hag is a master tactician and he is able to drill in a lot of these things into the players, but when it comes to the pitch, everyone is shocked as to what really happens. So there is definitely some block. Maybe players aren't really able to interpret what he actually wants to do on the pitch, but whatever it is, I think after a manager has been given 3 years with the team, there should be results. There should be some progression, and we're still in the same position, if not worse, in comparison to last year.
Yeah, I think Ineos are got ballsy decisions there to be made, especially the one you look at the ones with Fergie, to keep the manager and the staff members and all that kind of stuff. I hope it works out for the good going forward, and I hope it is for the betterment of the future for the club. But it's hard to see past that at the minute with the performances on the pitch. Just a couple of stats for you there. So Man United have won each of their last 5 home league games against Brentford by an aggregate score of 13-2, with their last such defeat coming in February 1937. My God. 4 of the 5 goals scored in the 2 Premier League meetings between these sides last season came in the second half stoppage time, 3 for United and 1 for Brentford. I think if I'm right, the Brentford one was when Mason Mount scored for us, didn't it? But then they equalised after that.
Yeah.
And then the 2 goals from McTominay as well, weren't they? Yeah, that game was crazy. I think they had 30.
Didn't it hit the
I
bar
thought
as
they had
well?
30.
They hit the bar twice.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah. Ivan Toney had missed loads of opportunities. It was we got battered from pillars. How we came out of that with a draw, I'll never know. United have won just one of their last 6 Premier League games, drawing 2, losing 3, failing to score in any of their last 3. They last went 4 league games without a goal back in April 1989. Jesus, wow. Yeah, I've not even read that stat, so I'm just like, that's my reaction to that. Like,
breaking all the records, aren't we? Breaking all the good records.
Another one breaks against Brentford.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about Brentford then. In their last 10 games, they've only lost 3. They've put 5 past Wolves, as Shreyas alluded to before. They keep scoring in the first minute of every game. They're great offset pieces. They're really organised, and they are a bogey team for us. At times, I mean, you look at the performances when Erik ten Hag first came in, when we lost to him. We look at last season away, it was very thinger. And then even the McTominay one, you had to win in the last minute. So they are a bogey team in that sense, although the results might not suggest it. So yeah, another tough challenge. Does the manager get enough credit for you, Sam? I know we touched on it slightly last night, but he's done a really good job with Brentford, hasn't he?
No, I think he's been excellent. I think tactically he's obviously very sound. Knows exactly what he's doing. The set piece thing, the amount of corner sort of like lineups and different changes they can make on corners and the goals they can score on that. They're now treating a kickoff as a set piece and scoring multiple times from that.
Yeah.
I think Carl Anker was talking about it on Talking to Devils, saying one of them is like they just loaded everybody onto one side, and the team they were playing didn't notice it, and they were just able to play it down like the one side and then end up scoring. So yeah, United need to look out for that on like any kickoff where it's like you need to look where they're standing and make sure aggregating yourself the right way. So yeah, I think he's really, really good, and I think we touched on this as well. He's done it on an extremely tight budget. Not really big spenders. I don't know what their top sort of price for a player is, but I can't imagine it's more than 20 or 30 million. And they've brought through some talent who you were like, I've never heard of this guy, but then they've turned out to like really good players. Like we talked about in Burma, we talked about Visser, Damsgaard, Norgard, the goalie as well. Is it Flecken? Is that the goalie?
Flecken.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's a good goalie as well. So yeah, I like what he's doing there. They've come up from where did he bring him? Did he bring him up from League One or League Two? Like where did he bring him up from?
League 2, I think it was.
League Two.
Yeah.
So he's done extremely well, bringing up to point, and he's stabilised them as well. Like they've been in Premier League for a number of years now. They've never looked like they're going down. They always finish like above bottom half of the table. Yeah, I think he deserves a lot more credit than he's getting, and I think he's got that disciplinarian side to him as well. I don't think he stands for any shit. And you'd think with Ivan Toney, they were like, oh yeah, Ivan Toney, best goal scorer we have, best player and stuff. And he was just like, look, if you don't want to be here, you can go. And they sold him to Saudi and got rid of him. And now they play even better. If you look at him, they probably play better than they did when Toney was here. So yeah, I like him a lot, and he deserves a lot of credit.
I want to talk about Toney in a minute, but it's funny. This is obviously a pre-record, but going live right now, the news that's breaking is that Thomas Frank's the next favourite, apparently. What a surprise. We're playing Brentford on Saturday, and Thomas Frank's the favourite. Of course he is. Absolute bollocks. But on Ivan Toney, Shreyas, has it surprised you how well Brentford have coped without him?
Yeah, and look, I think over the years, like Sam mentioned as well, how they finished every single season. They've been in the Premier League for quite some time now, and they've never really looked at the risk of relegation, even though they've also suffered massive losses through the years when it comes to their talent. But it just never looks like, whenever you actually see their players, like on paper, you can compare it to any of the teams, and you can say the other team massively, when it comes to quality, they are massively ahead of Brentford, but they're still able to bridge that gap somehow during the course of the game. And it happens every single time that they're able to bridge that gap. You talk about United, you talk about Spurs, you even talk about City. All these teams have got much more quality than what Brentford actually has to offer, but they still are able to, maintain their own and actually cause problems against these top teams. So I think, massive credit to them, because considering the type of era we live in now, and when it comes to pulling transfers and bringing players in every single season, it's quite tough for any of these teams. When you talk about Crystal Palace, when you talk about Brentford, and when you talk about Wolves, for them to consistently maintain their positions, even I would say, between the 9th to 12th mark.
Yeah.
And Brentford have been doing it on a very consistent basis while playing some very good and organized football. So yeah, definitely, they deserve a lot of credit.
Yeah, the replacements I'm a fan of. I like Mberno in my fantasy team. And Visser as well. Both of them really, really firing at the minute. Sometimes kind of deployed as like a double striker kind of system. Sometimes Mberno will push out onto the wings. I just think they complement each other really well. And that is something I'd be worried. I look at Lissandro and Delitsam against Porto. They had some struggles with runners, didn't they? And these two, Visser and Mberno, are runners and they will cause problems.
Yeah.
Do we set up very static and very pragmatic again, like we did against Villa, where we basically set up to not concede, and we drop deep?
No longevity in that, though, is that the issue with it?
He's in survival mode, isn't he, Ten Hag? This is where he's at.
Yeah.
Like, we've seen so many reports, if he lost the Porto and Villa game, gone. I've seen other reports saying the same thing if he loses Brentford and who's the next game? Leicester?
No, it's Fenerbahce, innit?
Fenerbahce, sorry.
Yeah, Fenerbahce.
If he loses those, he's gone. So he's in survival mode. And when a manager's in survival mode, they're not going to try and play expansive football. They're not going to try and implement the style. They're just trying to get a result. And a result here is try not to concede and try and snatch a goal at some point on the counter. And I think that could be what he might try and do here, like he did against Villa. We had a couple of small opportunities against Villa to score. Didn't take him. Obviously, the Bruno one comes to mind where he hits the bar with a free kick. He's going to have to take something like that, I think, for us to win this game. And we've just got to keep Brentford quiet. And I just don't see us doing it because they're so good on set pieces. They've got in a rich vein of form. They've got a bunch of confidence. They've come here and dominated us before. I was at the game where Scott McTominay scored 2 right at the very end. They dominated that game completely and were very unlucky to come away with that. So they know they can come here and beat us. So, yeah, I don't see what else he would do. If he tries to play what he's been trying to do all season, he's just going to get battered. And that's what's going to
punish us.
Yeah,
I agree. Shreyas, you want to kick us off with ones to watch in this game? So one for Man United and one for Brentford, in your opinion.
Johnny Evans for us. And
is he fit?
Yeah.
Just asking.
I have no idea. Is anyone?
I don't think he's been fit. I was about to say I don't think he's been fit since he signed. To be honest.
Yeah. I think every single one of our players is probably carrying an injury with the way they've been performing at the moment. But yeah, I think Evans for us and Mbuemo for them.
Yeah. Sam?
I'll go Visser for them just because he's the other half of that coin, isn't he? He's the other dangerous talent. And I think he maybe gets a little bit overshadowed by Mbuemo, who is obviously a bit more of a lethal goal scorer. So I'll go for him, but he's still a very, very dangerous player. For United, Mazraoui's not playing, so I can't pick him. That's really annoying. He's normally the goal.
Even he was a little bit shaky, wasn't he, the past couple of games? Like a little bit.
Make your choice, Onana or Evans.
I was going to say Onana. I'll go with Onana, and that's sad as well, isn't it? That's fucking horrible that I picked that.
Johnny Evans and Onana are the ones to watch for this game.
That's the only way they keep goals out. If Johnny Evans has a good game and breaks some stuff up, and Onana makes some top saves, maybe we could come out with a point.
I'm going to go with Ericsson, and I'll go Norgard just to be different as well, because I think he makes them tick when he plays for Brentford. So
Ericsson, goal and an assist last night, was it, or the night before?
Yeah, he's done well for Denmark. I mean, he's arguably been our best player, and that's not even a stretch. Legit. So, yeah. Right, let's move on to quick fires before we get even more depressed. Will Brentford score in the first 5 minutes?
Oof. Yeah. I want to say no. Just because I don't want to see it. Because if we concede, our heads go down. And if we concede after 5 minutes, fuck me. That is going to be a horrible game to watch.
So is that a firm no from you,
No,
Sam?
I'm going to go no. Go no.
Okay. I will go yes. Will we concede from a set piece?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. Would you take Thomas Frank at United?
No.
Oh, that one's getting stuck a little bit. I have to think about.
Is it Ten Hag or Frank? Is that the choice?
Just would you take him at United? That's the question.
If it's if it's just Ten Hag or Thomas Frank, I'd stick with Ten Hag.
Okay. And you said no, Shreyas, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Who's been the best player for us this season so far?
Johnny Evans.
Ericsson.
And prediction for man of the match?
As always, their opposition goalkeeper, Matt Flecken.
Yeah.
Always the way. Always
Okay.
the way.
You're going with Flecken, Shreyas?
No, I'll go with Mbuemo. I don't think we'll be,
Bueno.
creating much of a chance
Fucking
against them
hell.
anyway. So.
All right. That's the kind of positive. Put that in the dressing room
Ah,
before the game.
Jesus
Should have been reacting
Christ.
to that. Okay, so what team will we piecing together then for predicted 11? Shreyas?
Nana in net. We've Dallo, Delict, Lindelof, and Evans. Then in midfield, you've got Ericsson, Bruno. Have we got any other fit midfielder?
Casemiro.
Yeah, Casemiro is the only one left. So Casemiro, Ericsson, and Bruno in midfield. And Hoyland, Rashford, and
Is he fit? He came off, didn't he? Denmark.
I think
He's taking a punt.
Okay.
Okay.
Taking a punt. Yeah, go on.
I think he's okay. So I'll go with Hoyland. I'll go with Rashford and Ahmad.
Okay, interesting. Sam, can you give me yours?
Onana, Evans, Leacher, Dallo, and then Johnny Evans.
Evans twice? 2 Evans?
I think Johnny Evans at left back, and then Maguire's not fit, is he?
Nope.
No.
Does he put Delict and Leacher back together? Or does he stick Lindelof in there? I'll go Lindelof. Lindelof, Leacher, Johnny Evans at left back. Midfield, yeah, sorry. Casemiro,
Jesus.
Ericsson, Bruno. Because Ugarte is a risk, isn't he, or a doubt, so I don't think Mount won't start. I think Xerxes starts because I don't think he's going to risk Hoyland after he came off. Rashford and Garnacho.
I'll go Onana, Lindelof at right back, which I definitely don't want to see, but I think Lindelof at right back. Delit, Lissandro, and Dallo at left back.
No, Johnny Evans.
No. At left back, I'm just trying to speak it. I don't want to see him at left back. Johnny, you've done well, mate, but no. Not against Inferno, not a chance, mate.
Bombing down the wing on the overlap.
Yeah. Johnny Evans are breathing.
Him and
Ericsson
pushing forward.
Yeah. On that left-hand side. You go. No, you go. You go. No, you go. One of us gonna have to go. Okay,
give me a minute. Just wait.
Yeah.
And
Can
then
inhalers
we started running on the counter attack.
Yeah, they're done for. I remember that City game with Maguire and Ericsson, where they got a turnover in the last minute, and it was just like, oh my god, it was just a race of snails, horrific to watch. So, but midfield, Casemiro, Ericsson, Bruno, and then front three, I'm gonna go with the one with last year, Garnacho, Hoyland, and Rashford. Although Xerxes is quite a good idea against this kind of Brentford setup, but I'll go with Hoyland because Tenag keeps saying how much we're so happy to have him back and blah blah blah, and so I just think he'll go with him. But who knows? It's going to be pieced together really weird. It feels like one of those games where it's just going to be a shocking lineup, and Ericsson's going to be in the 6, and I don't know. Fuck knows. Let's see what happens. Anyway, score predictions, lads. I'll kick us off with this because I went last in the team predictions. I'm going to go 2-2, United and Brentford. Goals both ends. Shockingly, I know United scored 2. Crazy. Go on, lads. Both of you have got really sadistic looks on your face, mate. Like that.
Oh god.
Wait, let's play a game actually. Who thinks they've got the worst score prediction?
To be honest, I don't think mine's that bad. I think mine's quite realistic, but it's not positive. It's not positive.
Yeah, same.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Shreyas, you go.
2-1 to Brentford.
Okay.
I think they'll score first. We'll end up getting one somehow, and then while we're trying to press ahead and get another one, they'll hit us on the counter and win it at the end.
We are shit. Sam.
I'm very similar to Shreyas. I've gone 3-1 Brentford.
Yeah. Damn.
I think.
So none of us see us winning.
Yeah, I think we'll score, and I think, and everybody will be like, oh yeah, they're going to think, and then we'll just get absolutely slapped. It's like
Yeah,
the thing. And
exactly.
as soon as they score an equaliser, heads will go down and it'll just all fall apart. And that'll be it.
I know the stuff that's being pushed is like he's got the 2 games, but surely, undoubtedly, if you get beat 3-1 by Brentford at Old Trafford now, they have to pull the trigger. They have to.
I think he's here till Christmas, regardless.
Even
Like,
I think so. I think if they wanted to, they genuinely
Yeah.
would have done it in this international break
How
itself.
far
There
can
is
you
no
go, though?
reason. The thing is, there is no reason now for actually to sack him till Christmas, because who will you get in? The obvious option has now taken the England job. So who will be coming in now?
they obviously don't want to pull the trigger. Like, they could have pulled the trigger. Obviously, Tuchel apparently signed his contract on the 8th of October. So all this talk about him being interested in United was obviously bollocks because he'd already signed the contract at that point. So the other option is Rude in the interim, and obviously they don't feel like they want to do that because they would have done it. They would have let him go and have Rude
Exactly.
take over. So I just think he's here till Christmas, regardless.
But they must be seeing something to continuously stick with it. They must be seeing something in training to cling on to, or must have spoken to him and said, "Why is this not happening? Why is this not being shown on the pitch?" And he's gone because of this, that, whatever it is. And he's right, okay, fine, we'll stick with you for now, but results have to pick up.
Benny McCarthy said it, didn't he? He said in training they look excellent, like it's fantastic,
exactly.
and it's all this, and then they get to match day and it falls apart. So that apparently Dan Ashworth and Omar Brada's offices are right next to Hags, I believe, at Carrington.
Yeah.
So they're seeing what's happening every day. So they must see what's happening on the training pitch and going, "Oh yeah, we look good." And then there's just obviously this, like Shreyas said, this disconnect when they get onto the pitch, and it just not there. So I don't know. I really don't know.
Oh well, there we go. That should kickstart your enthusiasm into the weekend for Man United versus Brentford. Of course, there are other games on, and this is pre-recorded, but it'll be dropping Thursday night. So tomorrow, we're going to have the Premier League predictions, which is back with me and Alex. I'm going to speak to him about Thomas Tuchel as well, and of course, any lads welcome on that. And then we'll have the regular news show at 12 o'clock as well. So please do, as always, smash like on the video for us. Get your team predictions, your score predictions, all that good stuff in the comments, and drop us a follow on socials and subscribe to the channel. Big thank you to Sam. Big thank you to Shreyas. And let's go smash the bees, lads.
Yeah, it'd be nice, wouldn't it? Just to celebrate fucking something when it comes to United.
Yeah.
Just one thing.
There we go.
Yeah.
Cheers for watching, guys. See you in a bit.
Peace.